thing. Do you think Kong could win? Does he have something hiding under his...
Shabbat Shalom, family. I'm just going to go over some of the notes from the Biblical Marriage Structure Weekend. Okay, if there's anybody on the live, put a 100 to let me know that you can hear me. I want to make sure the volume is going. Just put a 100 in there if you can hear me. All right, Shalom, Miss Ragsdale. Shalom, JFT. Jimmy from Tucson. Shalom, shalom, Shakina. All right, cool, cool. Hope you're resting well. Shalom, Erica Worthen. Appreciate you guys being here. If you know anybody, let them know the live is up. We're going to go over that Biblical Marriage Structure Weekend, go over some of those notes. So go ahead and text them and let them know. Because, and I say that because the and Shakina can tell you too, it was not filmed. It was not recorded or anything like that. It was not recorded. So all you can do is go off you either had to be there or you go off the notes of someone who was there, who was in attendance. So does anybody else, you just send them a quick little text and say, hey, he's going over that weekend and I'm doing it for those, who couldn't make it. And just as a heads up, with respect to, Elder Murray and Mother Gina, Shabbat Shalom, Tracy belongs to Frank Stockton. With respect to them, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to quote them word for word because I don't want to misquote them. I don't want to misrepresent the information. So what I'm doing it is, but I don't want to say, hey, they said this, they say that, because if I misquote them, then it's not fair to them. It's not fair to them. So I want to give, respect and honor to the Murray tribe. That way they can say, well, I didn't say that. I didn't, so I'm just coming from my point of view. These are my notes, that type of thing. I'm not going verbatim, I'm not going word for word just because I don't want to misquote them. I don't want people to misunderstand. And again, it wasn't recorded. They didn't record it and nobody from the outside could record it, right? So it's just a very intimate setting. And, that information, I mean, you had to be there. You had to be there. It was just that kind of thing. So one of the things I did know is that a lot of people came from all over the place, LA, Arizona, Texas, Missouri, Arkansas, Florida, Michigan. What else did they name? Louisiana. People drove in. People drove in for this event. And what does that tell you? That tells you that people want to figure out how do we get our marriage in order? How do we get our lives in order? Okay, it's just that people really want to know that, and then they came from all over the place. And I think the information that was shared was very, very, very powerful, very eye-opening, where it really is life changing. It really changes your perspective as to how you want to run your family, how you want to run your life, how you want to run your family. It really teaches. It really had a lot of information. It really teaches us something, right? So that's why I really want to dive in and deal with some of the information that was shared that was shared with us. So it was really, really powerful. Okay, so I'm gonna go through my notes, look at a couple things, and just go from there. Okay, and just go from there. So one more time, It was buffering a second ago. Give me a 100 if you can still hear me and it's not buffering. It was buffering just a second ago. I don't know. I could be talking. Okay, good, good. All right. So you still see. Okay, no problem. So I'm gonna give you guys some. Okay, appreciate it, appreciate it. I just want to make sure it was still going. I could be talking and it's frozen and no one can hear me or see me. So, all right. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna go over some of these notes that were in the conference. It kind of go, different. They hit different topics. A lot of it had to do with on their book, the first and second book. So this first session, there was two sessions, and the first session was about the first book, the biblical marriage structure, and then we went about 4 hours and did that. Then we took a break for like 2 hours. Stretch your legs and use the restroom, get some water, stuff like that, for about 2 hours, just kind of relax, and then we reconvened for session two, which was a little bit more about the second book, okay, in the series, of biblical marriage structure. The second one is The Way of the Kinsman Redeemer. Okay, so you may have to get those books by Dr. Gina. So one is Biblical Family Structure. Well, the whole series is called Biblical Family Structure. But the Them and Him, that's book one. The Them and Him. And book two is The Way of the Kinsman Redeemer. So you got it, you want to get those books because it was about that, but so that it was where you can Shalom Enlightened One is it's just it was more conversational, right? So it wasn't just like a little book study or anything. It was just more of them talking, more of them talking, and it just centered around those books. But let's see here. The one of the things, and I gotta tell you, it changed the way I looked at things. It really did, simply because, look, I'm gonna be honest. When I grew up in Houston, Texas. I grew up on the hood side. I grew up on the poor side. Public assistance, food stamps, and all of that stuff. That's how I grew up. Drug dealers, gangs. That's what I grew up. I think violence, all that. Okay, that's where I grew up, and I thought, children were. Oh, you were in Pasadena. Okay, okay, we were real close. But I thought, I'm gonna be honest. I thought children were a curse. I did. I thought having children were a curse. Now you talk about, I'm just young teenage, 10, 12, 16 years old, young. And you got to understand what I saw. All I saw was broken homes. Not very many homes had a father in it. Okay. And the ones that were broken, which was most of them, the ones where it was a broken home or something like that, it's either the woman or the wife or the girlfriend, took the kids. Okay, took the kids away, and now dude doesn't have his kids, and the dude has to pay child support. Or the other side, the dude, laid up, knocked somebody up, and then he abandons him. He abandons the kid. So that's what I saw. That's what my experience was, and it was just really, really negative. That's why I didn't have a lot of kids. I only have two kids, right? I didn't have a lot of kids. I just thought it was a curse. Right? That's what I thought. I thought it was just a curse, and you had no control, and the society treats it like it's not it's kind of sort of your baby, daddy's maybe, mama's baby, daddy's maybe, and stuff. I grew up in that era, okay, where you had no control. You can have your kid, because you believe it or not, ladies, there are some guys out there who actually want their kids. There's some guys out there who actually want their kids with them. I know the experience is men abandon women. I know that's the picture, the main thing, but I met guys who actually want their kids and spent tens of thousands of dollars fighting for custody, trying to get their kids, to no avail. Very few guys have their children in that whole custody battle, right? So my point is, and I'm speaking from my own personal point of view, okay? I'm speaking from just what I saw. Okay, I'm not speaking for anybody else because I don't know your experience. So I'm speaking from what I saw. It was just horrible. So I thought, man, I don't want to have any kids. It took me a while. Then I got married young, and I said, let me take a chance. I'll go have a kid. and all that stuff, but it's just a huge gamble. It's a huge gamble. But now we have biblical family structure. We have, a husband and wife out there trying to get us all to go back to the genesis of marriage, if you will, and get us go back to the original intent. Okay, thank you, enlightened one. Trying to get us to go back to the original intent, and that, I think that's just powerful, right? And so after reading the books, I'm halfway through the second book, but after reading the books and attending this conference, I completely changed my mind how family should be ordered. Completely changed my mind. Completely changed my mind on how I feel about kids. Completely. I'm 180. I'm back the other way because I was shying away from it. So with that, I guess the first couple things that they're talking about, it says patriarchs. I don't know why I'm trying to do this without the specs. So it says patriarchs must rise and create tribes, and then tribes are to come together in oneness. Patriarchs must rise, okay, men. Patriarchs must rise and create tribes, and tribes are to come together in oneness, and that's how you build a nation. Think about that for a second. The men come into their own. They come into their roles, right? And they become patriarchs in their home, right? They become leaders in their home, and they get them going, and then they create seed. He becomes the king and priest of his home, right? The husband, he becomes a patriarch, and from there he assembles with other patriarchs doing the same thing in oneness, right? He's a patriarch. So this is patriarchs fellowshipping and assembling with patriarchs, and that's exactly the model that we're trying to put together at TBIC. That's all we're doing. It's five of us. All five of us are trying to sharpen the sword, one to another, and help each of us become the best patriarch we can be, right? So we're assembled together for that, but everyone in their own land. Okay, my firstborn son was born last week. Such a oh, hallelujah! Praise God! Oh, praise y'all, JFT. Praise y'all, man. You got yourself a son. All right, you got yourself a son. Now let's raise an heir. Okay, raise an heir in your image, brother. So they were talking about the them and them. They're talking about, and I'll come back to it, but they're talking about a man has a tribe within him, and procreation. You know what we're talking about. So that's the beauty of the whole thing. That's the power of it. So patriarchs must rise and create tribes, and then the tribes are to come together in oneness. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So you have a master of the house, another master of the house, another master of the house, in other words, a patriarch, and they can all assemble together. Don't think it's a coincidence that I never had a son until I was following away. That is a blessing. Trust me, that is a blessing. Because when you have kids who are not in the faith, when you have kids, because late to the faith, because when I got married, I was nowhere near the faith, and I was getting into Christianity and all that. So I was a Christian, and believe me, when you have kids, there's not in a faith, then you don't feel like you have an heir. And that's the difference. Continuing, like, for the difference between a son and an heir is this. You can have a son, and I'm not talking about you, JFT. I'm just saying, you can have a son, and they're not in the faith. They don't heed their father's call. They don't reverence and honor and respect that father and mother. I was about to say mother. They don't carry on your legacy. They don't carry on your name. They don't represent your name. Continue your line. Okay, your genetic line on down, passed down through generations or whatever. You have a son. You don't have an heir. An heir continues in your stead. Continue in your steps, honoring your name. Continue the tradition, everything that you handed down in the way. You following the way of Yah. And then you handing it down, and they're following the way of Yah, continuing it on. That's an heir. Okay, so sometimes we can have a son and not an heir, and so that's where I am now. Don't worry. Hey, I love my son, but he's not in the faith. Okay, I'm just honest. He's not in the faith. I love my son. He's not in the faith. It's that simple. Is he going to continue on what I'm doing? No. When I build a homestead, is he going to come and keep it going up? Nope. He's not. He's not. So I'm not saying, oh, I hate my son, but no, I love my son, but he's not an heir. He's a son, not an heir. Okay. It said, family is the man which family has, family is inside the man. It's in his testicles, which produce oneness or Elohim principle. Okay. So the Elohim principle, because we know Elohim is a plural word, and that's where you have the them in him. Okay. So, Yah created, man, and then he took a woman out of man, that's them. Okay, those two in him. But you can also look at it like this: when you have a child, okay, when you have a child, what's that child made of? Okay, that child is made up of you, man, and made up of you, woman, right? So you are the them in your child. Oneness, Elohim. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, Johnny Smith, my man. What's going on? What's going on? Shalom, shalom. I hope you're enjoying your Sabbath. So it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Just like there's a oneness. There's more than one, but there's a oneness. I mean, Christ said that him and the Father are one. Okay, they are one in agreement. In the New Testament, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are one, and they all three are one in agreement, and one accord on one program. So what about it when you bring up children not from your seed, and that son goes in your way? Is he an heir? That is a good question. All right. Okay, let's just go with the Bible. I don't see anywhere in the Bible where I could say an adopted son or or a stepson or whatever gets taken on as an heir. I mean, someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I just haven't seen that as a true heir. That's so I'm trying. I'm trying to think of a story. Think of an instance where that happened. Now, don't get me wrong. I know in this life, you have some step parents and stuff like that. I'm I just don't. I can't think of a place. Can you explain one flesh with multiple wives? This is a question that always on my mind, brother. No problem, Israel Lewis. All right, no problem. Okay, one flesh. Okay. Obviously, when two people come together, man, woman, in consummation, they become one. That means they're going to operate as one unit. Okay, those two, you're going to operate as one unit. It means the wife is completely and wholly assimilated to her husband, completely and wholly assimilated to her husband, right? So his thoughts are her thoughts and stuff. That's total assimilation, going with his program. Okay, that's like if you say, hey, we got to move to Montana, and your wife just gets on board. She just says, okay, all right, she just gets on board and don't give a whole lot of pushback. She wants what you want, just kind of like Sarah. She followed Abraham, had to go somewhere. Sarah, she just followed him, and that was it. Not a whole lot of pushback. So there's a oneness right there, right? One mission, one accord, one vision. The husband's vision, the head. One vision, one accord, one mission, and one way, serving Yah. So now they're one. But you can do the same thing again with another woman as long as she falls in line and gets with the program. One, because it is one team, one mission, one goal, one patriarch. And you could just do that, however many times that, Yah tells you to do that. You can do that. You can become one with one person. So now the two that are no longer two separate, they operate as one unit. She represents your name. She represents your household. Another woman can join with you, be one, and represent your household. Just as good. So you can do it multiple times. So that oneness is in thought, mind, mission, purpose, all that stuff. It's just being one. Okay. Well, I like how they said over the weekend. I like how Sister Gina said, Mother Gina. She said, when you hear her speaking, you hear her husband. You hear Elder Murray. So when your wife is talking and speaking to other people, they should hear you. That's part of being one. Okay? They should hear you, oneness. On that other one, I can't find any examples of when you an adopted or, stepson or whatever in the scriptures. Like I said, I can't remember. I read the Bible and I just I can't think of an instance there. Semen is 20% cerebral fluid, and women retains the DNA in her brain biologically become one literally. There you go. Absolutely. 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 It said you will either participate in this matrix power structure or you will yield your members to the most highest power structure. Exactly. That's why, I did a video, seek out the old past and stuff. And we're talking about, I think in that one, I was talking about arranged marriages and all that. That's the thing right there. Okay. We coming into the way, what a lot of us need to do is throw away all the stuff we think we knew that was in like Christianity, or if you were in a camp that went sideways, and have all kinds of false doctrine. We got to let all that go, and we got to come back and exegete the scripture, allow it to say what it is saying, and don't eisegete it, right? Because this matrix that we live in, this power, it tells us everything that's good is bad and everything bad is good. Also, when you have children with one of the wives to become one, your offspring is one flesh from the two. Absolutely. That's the other way around. That's the Elohim. They're talking about the Elohim principle, is multiples in one, So yeah, the matrix, this power structure, that's what we're going to do. Will economic collapse force polygyny? In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, yes, because you got to understand, when you have an economic collapse, and me and the brethren, okay, 100 if you hear me, 100 if you hear me, 100 if you hear me. Give me 100 if you hear me. We back? 100 if you hear me. All right. Awesome. So what I was saying was a lot of people going to be unprepared. Thank you. A lot of people going to be unprepared, right? So the people who are not going to make it, they're not going to be prepared, period, from looting and raping and robbing and killing. Some people may not be able to get to some medicines that they desperately need, those kind of things. When economics collapse, because you got to look at some of the economic collapse in the past and what have happened. If you heard that term wheelbarrow money, right, where they had to put all their money in a wheelbarrow just to get a loaf of bread. Okay. There's a lot of companies, they had it in Germany, they had it here in America, they had it in some of the South American countries and stuff like that, and Venezuela, just in the past. And just imagine you woke up this morning. Well, I don't want to use this morning because we're just at home, and we don't buy and sell and stuff like that. But imagine you wake up tomorrow morning and all the money in your bank account or in your wallet or under your mattress or wherever you have it is worthless. It's basically toilet paper. How do you think most people are going to react? So anyway, the first thing you do is you're going to get rid of strength, right? And of a family, the strength is the father. And so you get rid of these men, they're going to die, they're going to go out there. Some men's going to, go out there and try to eat. They got mouths to feed, they got a family to feed or whatever. So they're going to do, some people just going to do whatever they can, and not everybody else is going to make it back. Not everyone's going to make it back home, right? So anyway, you're going to have a shortage of men, civil unrest. When you have the civil unrest, because what's going to happen? Martial law is going to happen because chaos is all broken out, And so a lot of men are not going to make it back home that night. And then when the dust settles, we're going to, the male population is going to be decimated. Then what are the women going to say? What are they going to do? When the dust settles and they get on another currency or something else, what are they going to do? We got a lot of lives lost, mostly men. There'll be some women lost, but mostly men. Men are usually on the front line. So yeah, I do think we're in that age of the Isaiah 4. I think that's coming. I think we're right in the beginning of it. And the reason I say is because women are starting to wake up to it. A lot of men are shocked that some women would even consider, polygyny, that they would even think about it, consider, because we're in that. Okay. Now, when tragedy strikes, they're going to do it en masse. But, right now you're like, what? Polygyny it's a pretty good option. They're going to be thinking it's a pretty good option. I can do that. I can do this polygyny thing. So trust me, guys. It's something harsh truths, but truths nonetheless. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's gonna happen. So absolutely, do I think uh any type of calamity, I think that is good, they're going to go towards polygyny. You want to know why? Because if you look at Isaiah 4, they say, hey, I got my own money, got my own clothes, just let me be called by your name to take away my reproach and stuff like that. It's going to be because of covering. They're going to be looking to be covered, period. They're going to realize, man, I need it's not going to be all the women independent. No, it's not in that day. Not when things get ugly. It's not. And all the ones who blow this independent trumpet and all that, yeah, you're gonna have some guys like, oh, no, you're on your own. You can do anything you can do. I can do better. So that's how you feel. How many options they have now, really? Exactly. You're right, Johnny Smith. How many do you have? How many do you have? Homosexual, in jail, being killed and shot down. I mean, I heard a woman in a grocery store saying how hard it is on her sister because she's unmarried. Absolutely, I'm telling you, they're gonna realize they need to be covered. But for years, for decades, guys, for decades, what have society has told our women? You don't need a man. You don't need a man. You don't need some man up over you. I mean, think about that. You know. So you really got to think about that. You really got to think about that. So let me look in my notes. Shalom, shalom, brother Malak. Shalom, shalom. Thank you, Israel. Let me go back to my notes so we can keep this bad boy going. There is oneness after great tribulation and trial. That's my next note. There's oneness after great tribulation and trial. Now, I know sometimes in a relationship, guys, it can be pretty rocky, right? Going in this walk. Remember, I did a video talking about, fellas, you might need to apologize because you're changing. You're becoming a new man. You're becoming a new man and you're changing. So there's going to be some tribulation in your household at first, right? But oneness can be achieved if you both make it out on the other side, right? Oneness can be achieved in that after great tribulation and trial. You can achieve it after that. Now, you have still talking about the oneness after great tribulation and trial. That's when polygyny is going to come in place. When you're talking about I'm talking about outside tribulation and trial. When you get that, okay, that's when polygyny is really going to come into play. So just be on the lookout for that. Let's see. The process can't be hacked. The process is male and female becoming one. Exactly. You got it. It cannot be hacked. You can't circumvent how this whole process is. You can't circumvent the structure. You're trying to get to one, achieving oneness, right? Let's see what else we got here. Once you have been a successful son, then your father assists you in becoming a successful husband and father and so forth, right? So many of us are waking up to patriarchy. I did a video talking about first generation patriarchs, right? So many of us guys, we're just waking up, right? Our fathers didn't know or didn't teach us how to be a patriarch, what it means to be a patriarch, and running your own household or building up a tribe. He didn't know, all right? So he didn't know. And we are waking up and we're trying right now, which I think is a good idea to get around brethren, because iron sharpens iron. Get around brethren just to make you a better version of yourself, okay? So that you can grow and be the better man and become a patriarch. Now, from there, you start having sons, okay? Sons and daughters. From there, you start and you pick up that line. You put it all back together, right? If you're a young man, you can get with an older man, okay? And you can submit yourself to learn under him, because that's when we're talking about, in Israel, in TBIC, we're talking about, like, if, you have a man and he's got, 10, 20, 30 acres and you're trying to achieve the same thing. Well, you go on his land, y'all make an agreement, you go on his land, you submit yourself to that guy, and you learn all you can. You learn all you can, but you're learning right there. So you're in a way, you're a servant, but kind of in a way, you're kind of like a son. Right? You're kind of like a son. So he's just teaching you. You're not some kind of slave. He's teaching you how to become a patriarch, right? Because like if I didn't have the means, I'm like, man, if I could just get 10 acres of land or whatever, I go I go with another patriarch willing to take me in and show me, and show me what he does. I can watch and observe how he is with his family, see what he does on his homestead, and I'm learning. And then I can come out with substance, okay? Serve him for X amount of years, whatever you agree upon, and learn how to do that. It's simple. It's elder counsel. Well said. Thank you, brother. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's just elder counsel. So you can definitely get it done. And then from there, when you learn that, pass it on to your sons. And now you just restored your line. You just restored your line, getting it going. Unique taste of soul. Shabbat shalom, my brother. I hope you are enjoying your Shabbat. Shabbat shalom, brother. I'm going over the notes over the weekend. So, brothers and sisters on the line, Unique Taste of Soul, he was actually there too. Okay, he was at the Biblical Marriage Conference that weekend as well. So I got a chance to shake his hand and hug his neck and stuff. Good brother. It was awesome meeting you out there, brother. He said, let's see here. Die of your own will and live for Yeshua's will. Absolutely. Okay, because that's what he wants us to do. What he wants us to perpetuate, right? But he wants us to bring up righteous seed, right? So our will, whatever the ideas, like, me, I had certain ideas. I had the lofty goals, I'm like, hey, I want to make the 6-figure income, and I want to do this, and I want to travel the world, and I want to, and yeah, I do want, I have traveled a little bit, and, and I like traveling. But I was pursuing all those things for stuff that didn't mean anything in the end, for stuff that it didn't even really matter, right? Now there's purpose. Now that's why I switched to homesteading, right? Switched to moving in that direction. Right now I'm living in a trailer right now, right? Just so I can get out. So I'm making a transitional step. So am I hiding my family? Am I trying to protect them? Am I hiding my family? Let's see what we have here. So that's the thing. That's the thing we have to remember, right? Want to remember that. So let me go back to my notes. Die of your own will and live for Yeshua's will. And we want us to perpetuate. He said, be fruitful and multiply. You go to Jeremiah, it said, build houses, take wives, beget sons and daughters, and then give your sons to daughters and give your daughters to sons. Get them married. In your land of captivity. In the land of captivity. So it says that. Okay, seed time and harvest time is perpetual. It's forever. We're supposed to keep doing this. We're supposed to keep bringing up righteous seed. That's our goal. I want us guys to realize that is our goal, to bring up righteous seed. Think about it. You have, Cain and Abel, and we already know what happened with that. So if Adam and Eve stopped there, we never would have got Seth. Right? We never would have got Seth. Okay, so Abraham, he had Ishmael with Hagar, but Ishmael was not the child of the promise. You wouldn't have us if he would have stopped there. Oh, I got Ishmael and we stopped there. You see what I'm saying? So we got to keep going until we get righteous seed. We have to bring righteous seed. Who's going to actually serve our Most High Yah? And that's an heir. Who's going to actually continue to serve? I serve, and then son, you go ahead. Shabbat Shalom, Zen Exploration. Yep, and she was there too. She was at that weekend as well. But who's gonna continue to serve the Most High of your children, of your the whole goal? You got to bring up righteous seed, and of course the mother, the women in that situation is supposed to nourish. Who spends most time with the children, right? A lot of times it's mom, right? The mother, because she's nurturing. You're too busy working, okay? You're too busy out in the field. You're too busy at work. You're too busy doing something, right there. And you spend time, obviously, when you're not working, you spend time with your kids and all that. But mom is with the kids all the time. So she's supposed to be turning that veneration, that reverence from the kids towards dad. Then you have a time. If you don't mind me asking, how old is your son, brother? Oh, no problem. My son's 25. Yeah, my son's 25 years old. Yeah, he's an adult. He's on his own. He's doing his thing. Went to college. went to college doing his thing. And I mean, in the world, by the world standards, he's doing a lot. He's pretty, successful, by the world standards. So, hey, good kid by the world standards. Like I said, he's not out there, committing crimes or anything like that. But not in the faith. So, it is what it is. But we men, we have to bring up righteous seed. That's the whole goal. So that your name die not in Israel. Okay, and in fact, I'm gonna do a lesson on that. But that's on the other channel, Fountain of Israel. That's on another channel. I'm gonna do that. I will do that lesson, put that together about how important it is to have a name, perpetuate your name, not have your name blotted out, the Lamb's Book of Life, and all that. So I'm gonna put a lesson together on that. But that's our whole goal. I see that now. I did not see that before, but now I do. Let's see. Man should have a family that has expanded before going into the Exodus phase. Exactly. Demonstrate the Genesis phase first. Yeah. We got to get to the foundation of it. Okay. When I said that, I said, you have to have a family that expanded. Okay. So the foundation. Okay. Foundation of any nation is family. Okay. The rib bringing up the children in the way of Yah as the Father has been leading righteously. Yes. 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 Hallelujah. That's phase one. Okay, the foundation of any nation is family. Period. So men, you rise up as a patriarch. You beget righteous seed, and you just and other men do the same thing, and you just keep going, right? So we got to get that first. That's the Genesis phase before we get into the Exodus phase, doing other things, right? Doing the other things. Because a lot of people, we're just kind of trying to short circuit the process, and we just, let's just, let's wake up Israel and let's just do that. I mean, okay, all right, I get it. But let's bring forth fruit. Okay, where's our fruit? Let's bring forth fruit. So we need to have righteous fruit. Okay, the first batch, I'm sorry, your first batch of kids, they didn't do, okay, keep going. If they're not righteous and they're not in the way, okay, keep going. Keep going. And so it doesn't, and that, another reason why polygyny, fits in too. You're a little bit older, or if your wife got to where she can't have any more kids, okay, then you get a younger wife, have more kids. It's really that simple. And I find, I'm going to touch on this. The Most High wants us to bring forth righteous fruit, right? I know there's some single men out there, whatever, but, obviously there's nothing wrong with, being married. You bring forth some righteous fruit. And if the Most High put it in your heart, men, if the Most High have put it in your heart to bring forth righteous fruit, your wife should want the same thing for you. That's oneness. See, if your wife kicks against that, you want righteous fruit. If she kicks against that, like you don't have any righteous seed, you don't have any whatever, then that's not oneness. That's not oneness. Why would your wife not want you to bring up righteous fruit? Why would your wife be okay that your name just die out? Right? One of the things they talked about over the weekend, they said, okay, if you don't have any righteous seed, right? Were you ever really here? What did you leave behind? What is going to continue on in your name? Right? So that's, they just posed a question, right? So why would your wife want your name to just die out like that? Like you could, now, if she can't have a kid, I mean, that's the same. Look at the Abraham situation. Look at the Abraham situation. He wanted righteous seed, and Sarah wanted her husband to have righteous seed. That was one. She wanted what her husband wanted, right? She felt like, hey, I can't do it. Here, take Hagar so that I can have a baby. Listen, see, so that she can, because it's still for her in her mind that still counts. Now we know jealous. There's an issue came up there because of Hagar got beside herself a little bit. And so Abraham sent her away or whatever, especially once she got pregnant with Isaac. But the thing is, look at where she was. She was like, you know what? My husband is a righteous man. I want him to have kids. Even if I can't give them to him, I want him to have kids. I want him to have righteous seed. So if you got to have a woman who actually wants what the Most High wants for you, regardless, setting herself aside, setting her feelings aside. I mean, I don't know. I think it's the height of selfishness if somebody, if a woman's like, well, because of my feelings, I don't want you to have any kids. And then your name dies out. It just, I don't know. If your wife is part of the faith and don't want you to have righteous seed, is she really part of the faith? That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm like, is she really? Is she really being righteous? Is she really being one with you? I mean, you can't, and don't do this adoption crap and this stepfather crap, okay? That is not your seed. I don't understand for a woman not to have a heart to say, I I want my husband to have sons. I want my husband to have heirs. I want that. How could you not? How could you? I don't get it. I can't get into that mindset. But that's me. That's me. A wife should want to have the Most High's will done through her husband. I heard some men don't want children and the wife does. That happens. Yeah, that happens. I mean, like I said, I don't know why. I said earlier, I don't know if you were on when this live stream started. I said earlier, I thought children were cursed. I'm just going to be honest. I thought children were a curse. I don't now. Let me make that clear. I do not think that. But I thought children were a curse. So you got some guys out there who, they're like, nope, I don't see the benefit in having any kids. Right? They don't have, this understanding of it. They just like, nah, I don't want to. Okay? You got to explore why they don't want to. So you got to explore that. I said a wife should want to have the Most High's will done through her husband. Okay? It said, we can't have the body of Messiah that is sluggish. Wives must be repentant and prostrate before their husbands and Yah. Okay? And that's with the silent or passive rebellion. That happens a lot. A silent or a passive rebellion. The husband can ask the wife to do something and is mumbling and grumbling and belly aching and whining and complaining, and it's just ridiculous. Okay, shalom, house of Lee. So you got to look at that. Okay, you got to look at that. Keep that in mind. That we have to have a certain level of zeal. Excuse me. We have to have a certain level of zeal when it comes to serving the Most High. Just like wives should have a certain level of zeal when it comes to serving their husband. Okay, so it says, submit unto your husband as it is, like you would, and I know I'm totally rephrasing it, but you submit unto your husband just like he was Christ. Okay, I have the steps who is now in the faith and is raising his seed in the faith. So that's good. He's not continuing your line, but he is beginning his line. Okay, so when he becomes an adult, he'll begin his line, but that doesn't carry your name on, right? So, I'm not saying, and again, just because I say stepsons, not your seed, that doesn't mean that you can't help raise a young man in the right way, and teach him how to be righteous. Like think about some of the servants in Abraham's house. Okay, he taught them. He's a father of our faith, right? So he taught them. Now, they're not his line, except for Ishmael and, Isaac. They're not his line, but those men leaving his house, so they can continue on their line. So yeah, you can do that with a stepson, a foster son, or however we want to put it. Let's see. The world is trying to make males into females in today's satanic thought system. The world is trying to make females in today's satanic thought system. Brother Robert, thankfully, yeah. Brother Robert, what about women who never marry and no kids? Well, actually can't. Okay, let me see. I got to go to the, because they disappear on this, they disappear on the phone screen. So let me go back to the comment. All right. What about women who never marry and have no kids? Well, actually can't have kids. What's your view on some brothers and sisters were meant to remain single? Okay. I feel like, the body of the Hamashiach, the body of Christ, I think everyone has a different function, right? Hands, feet, head, heart, things like that, right? And I think everyone has a role in the Most High's will. Like Paul was single, okay? Paul was single, and obviously he taught, and he's definitely a part of the body. You have other people, you have widows and things like that. But you have the like it says in the New Testament, older women, okay, should be wise, and they teach the younger women to love their husbands and raise children, stuff like that. Now that's an older woman. Let's say it's an older woman and she doesn't have any kids. She doesn't have any kids. She can still help a younger woman. Um, you have either older, wiser, who can teach, who can help. For example, let's say you have an older woman on the land with you. Say she's 60 years old. She's single, whatever, no kids, and she's on the land with you, right? Then you have your wives out there and the brethren, they're out there working and stuff like that. She can watch the kids. Okay, there's a function for everybody. Oh, and I'm just since this question came out of nowhere, I'm just thinking of different things that they can do. Okay, you can still serve, you can still work in ministry, and you can do those type of things. You can help with the kids, you can learn skills. I mean, what if she's a nurse and understands medicine and things like that? That's useful. Okay, what if she understands, gardening and things like that? It's the skills, what you bring to the service of the household. Period. So it doesn't have to just be children. Same thing as a man. He's a single man. He doesn't have anything. He can join himself with another person's family. He can whatever. He can build a homestead. He can help out the widows and the orphans and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that can be done that can edify. Okay, this is a single guy. He doesn't have a wife, doesn't have any children, but he is still building a homestead, safe haven for women and children. So there's a lot of things that could be done. It's about the kingdom. Yes, Johnny Smith is about the kingdom. A unique takes the soul. He said, yes, sir. All praise to the Most High. It was truly a blessing to receive the fruit from the conference and receive some wisdom from you and the rest of the brothers. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Awesome that you were there. I'm in the same position as you. I have sons that are adults now and are successful by the world standard. Yep, but I'm looking to bring forth righteous seed. Yes, sir, brother Malak. That's what I'm talking about. And we have to keep going. You see what I'm saying? We got to keep going. We say, okay, I got to keep going until I get a son who's going to follow after my footsteps, so that my name continue on, So yeah, brother Malak, same thing, by the world, like I said, by the world standards, my son is awesome by the world standards, but he's not in the faith. So what can I say? Okay. What can I say? Can righteous seed be raised in an unrighteous society? Yes. If you haven, like for example, Daniel was in captivity. Jeremiah was in captivity. Okay, and they're righteous. Now, as far as the righteous seed, go back to Jeremiah, what it says, in the land of your captivity, build houses, have wives, have sons and daughters, and give them for sons and daughters, and stuff like that. So you can do it, but you have to have a set apart place to do that, an environment. Think about this for a second. I had to pull my daughter out of public school, right? Because I hate what she was exposed to. I hated it while she was in public school. What they are exposed to, what they talk about, all the things that they see, everything is okay. Everything is tolerated. Homosexuality runs rampant. You can have, they're sharing things that they should not share, on internet and having these chats and stuff like that. And what are they doing? They're talking about boyfriends and girlfriends and all these little conquests and things that they have. The things that they see on the news. I saw an article where you have, transgenders and things like that come into classrooms. They're coming into elementary schools reading stories and having books like, Little Johnny has two dads, things like that. Showing you things like, I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Okay, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. So what now? They're in the society doing that. You got internet and all that stuff. You got all of that going on. Then you have their peers, their friends. You don't know if their friends are righteous or not. You have no freaking idea. They don't respect your faith or whatever. Your kids are not strong enough to represent your faith when they walk out the front door and go into the world. They're not strong enough just yet, right? And if they have all that worldly influence, and it's going to skew their point of view. It's going to skew their perspective, okay? So you look at it like this. You bring them home, you pull them out of the system, or if they're not in the system, and you fellowship and assemble with other people in the faith. And then your kids associate with those kids without all that outside influence, okay? And then, hey, keep them off the internet, okay? Or monitor what they're watching on the internet, okay? Do that and get them into the faith. So that when it's you from birth, right? So that's my goal. Have more kids from birth in the faith, right? Because my kids didn't come up, the kids I have now did not come up in the faith. So, and like I said, I've only been in the faith, 10 years, and my son's 25 years old. So you gotta, no. If you separate them, have a little haven, have a little Goshen, have a little Garden of Eden, 5, 10, 15, 20 acres or something like that, and separate them from this untoward generation. Come out of her, my people. That's what has to be done. Come out of her, my people. And so, yes, you can raise righteous seed when they're ready. They're armored up, okay? They're armored up with the armor of God. When they go out into that world, they'll be able to see wickedness. What happens now? In the world, your child goes out into the world, get the information and the influence and all the perspectives of the world, and then they come home and they question you. They come home and question you. But if you raise them from the beginning in a set apart environment, in your own little Eden, and you insulate them, when they do get older and go out into the world and they question the world, that's the difference. That's what we have to remember. They question the world. Older wives could run your business so you can do something else. Absolutely, Frank Stein. That's very good. That's what I'm saying. Keep coming with those ideas. Yeah, older wives can help run the business. Absolutely. Okay, Malak said wickedness. Yes. Zen says it's getting crazy what they are teaching and allowing. They are training the children with a propaganda. Absolutely. They are turning our kids against us. That's what I'm saying. You send them out into the world, your child comes back questioning you. Very true. This is why I kind of feel there's no point in having children. I understand. I completely understand. If I didn't have plans to raise my next batch set apart, I wouldn't have children. I would not have children. Also, brother, you got to make sure you have them with the right woman as well. You got to have them with the right woman as well. Okay. So, got to go from there. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I understand what you're saying. Frank Stockton, I work in a school where there is a homosexual substitute. Too much. Absolutely. A male substitute teacher can come in with a dress and teach your kids and come out of her, my people. They have to be constantly can penetrate, and it's rough out there in the world, guys. It's rough. Imagine all the things that they get to see, they get to be exposed to. It's ridiculous. Let me get back into some of these notes here. Any man that tries to make a man into a eunuch will have his sons cut off. Exactly. Okay, so you don't want to cause another man to not become the patriarch that he wants to become. You don't want to cause another man to, train another man's, son to be anything less than a man. You don't want to succumb to the agenda out there. It's out there. You got the alphabet agenda out there. You don't want that for your son. You don't want to cause that. You don't want that to be caused. You don't want that to happen to you and your progeny. You don't want that. But the world is after the kids. Because this generation is going to shape it, right? So the new leaders, kids 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 years old, they're going to be the leaders of the future because the rest of us will be too old. And they're already shaping them while they're young. They're already shaping them with that, as Mother Gina would say, that satanic thought system. We've been lied to over and over and over again. We have been absolutely lied to and deceived. So, the system is aware of us, but will soon come. You got to have a piece of land or go. He said, my son told me last night that his school wanted to know how he identified, black or white. Yeah, they coming after our kids, man. They coming after our kids. They don't have a little Israelite box in that, on the check box on the applications and stuff like that. Yeah, I just tell them, human, like Tracy belongs to Spring Stock, human, but yeah, they're watching. They're watching, absolutely. Yeah, said, he said black, but yeah, you teach him, his heritage, teach him the way and stuff like that. But that is a good one. What race, what race you identify? Human. So they are after our kids, guys. They're after our kids, and they're after their minds. They're after their minds, and it's working, as you guys can see. So, thankful to Yah. Oh, I like that comment. I like that comment. I'm gonna read that. He's thankful to Yah. Said something. Yeah, there it is. It just popped up. It says, second guessing yourself on having kids, if you're able to, is what the adversary wants, in my opinion. I'm gonna have to agree with you. Because think about men in the Bible, they had kids in their old age. Jacob had like Reuben or Benjamin in his old age. Um, Abraham, he had his sons in his old age, stuff like that. It's not too late, because obviously men can have seed all the way until he dies. Okay, women on the other hand, not so much. But yeah, men can have seed all the way until he dies. So you don't have to second yourself on that. Okay. Yep, I agree. Identifies as grafted in, baby. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. All right, let's see what else we have here. Go back to these notes here. We are to be able to connect our farms and family. Again, building community, building family. We should be able to connect our farms and family. Want to know why? Because one, connect our farms and family. So let's start with farms. Connecting our farms. Guess what? You set up a bartering system. If there's economic collapse, I can still barter with my brothers. I can go give him X amount of corn. He can give me X amount of potatoes. I can give him X amount of eggs. He can give me X amount of rice. We can barter together. We should be able to connect our farms. Matter of fact, you should find out what your other brothers in the faith, okay? You should find out what he's growing. You should find out that, and then you grow something else that the rest of the community might need, and then you can barter, right? Say you have, in our case, TBIC, you have 5 farms going. You have 5 homesteads going. I can find out what my other 4 brothers are growing. Obviously, we're going to have some things in common, obviously. Same crops. But some of them, we can deliberately grow something different so that we can barter and give to our brothers and our neighbors, right? Barter. Get something you need. Hey, you need some of this? I get some of that. Boom, 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 boom. Go from there. So now we have our own economy through bartering. So if there's a collapse, we have our own economy. That's power, people. That's power. And connect our families. Now, I don't mind if my daughter marries one of my brother's sons. I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me at all. We have the same faith. We should be able to connect our farms and family. Think about it. That's brotherhood. That's assembly. That's all things in common. Period. So think about it. We don't have to exchange money. We can exchange resources. We don't have to exchange money. If we want to exchange money, we can. Gold, silver, whatever, we can. But we don't. That's what I'm talking about. That is power. Back to the family. If when I get an heir, when I have more kids, I want my kid. I should be able to see one of my brother's daughters. Now we know each other. We dwell together. We breaking bread together. Okay. See one of my brother's daughters, and I'll be like, you know what? That's who I want my son to marry right there. Talk to the father. Hey, are you good with that? That kind of. He knows my son. He's watching. He knows what my son's being taught. I know what she's being taught. I'm telling you, we're overlooked. Seek out the old paths. We're not doing that enough. Seek out the old paths. You don't have to give your child to the world. Some of them are already given over to the world. So it's too late for some of them. But you can raise righteous seed and not give them over to the world. It's up to us. It's up to us. Let's see here. It is time for men who are patriarchal to stand up and lead your family. See that? I mean, I just went on a rant, and it was that was the very next note. That's what it's all about. Okay, men must be unapologetically patriarchal. So, men, I'm telling you right now, don't apologize, don't shrink, don't be a shrinking violet. Stand up, put your chest out, be a man, and have the vision, whatever that vision is on y'all's heart, and stand in it boldly. Because if he gave it to you, then he equipped you to do it, and he's going to protect you. It's that simple. Then you find some woman, you find some woman. That's the kind of talk that you know when you meet a woman. That's the talk that you have with her. You share that vision and be clear on it. Be clear on that vision, because some women they want to be supportive, they want to help you, they want to be a help meet, but they're like, what am I helping? What are we doing? What's going on? So you have to be very clear. You say, hey, I want to have some sons. You can be specific. Hey, I want to have 7 sons. Okay, and I plan on keep going until I get 7 sons, right? Or whatever. Or I want 10 children, 15 children, whatever it is, right? You let them know. I'm building a homestead, and be doing it. I'm building a homestead. I just bought a piece of land. I'm starting to build, and I want to have a lot of kids, and so on and so forth. Okay, you want to join me in this mission, because this is the vision that I'm doing. This is the destination where this train is going. Are you on? Are you in or out? That kind of thing. We got to have that conversation with them. Husbands may need to sit down and have a chat with their wives. Yeah, I did that. A new covenant must be made. Yeah, exactly. So that's when I did that video. That's what sparked me to make that video. Guys, you may have to apologize. And what I meant by that in that video is you came into the faith, right? You came into the faith, and your wife came into the faith, and you came with all these different truths, right? And then you begin to change. You start becoming like a new man, starting to be reborn and stuff. The problem is, when you change, your wife could get upset, and she's gonna be like, oh my goodness, you have changed. You're not the man. And she's right. Because you've changed. You say, okay, no, I'm patriarchal now. I want to do this. I want to do that. And you're going in a different direction. You feel the call of Yah on your life. You feel his will, call into your conscience, right? And the reason why you need to apologize is because you didn't tell her you were about to murder the old man, the old you. Because she made a covenant with the old you. She made a covenant. That's who she married. That's who she joined herself. She became one with that old you. And it is upsetting her because you don't look like or sound like the old you anymore. And so you have to apologize. You have to say, hey, you know what? I'm sorry. I killed the old me. The covenant with him, the old me, is dead because I killed him. He's no longer here. But I'm asking you to make a new covenant with me. And then you got to give her time to assimilate and grow. That's really what's going on here. So let's see here. There we go. It says the people who question having kids are a lot of men thinking about the cost, in my opinion, sometimes. No disrespect meant to anyone here. No, I mean, yeah, you think about, yeah, that's when I was talking about Tracy belongs to Frank Stockton. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, part of being a curse. That's why I thought when I was younger, I thought it was a curse to have kids. I'm like, forget that. It's like an 18-year sentence. Financial sentence. That's what I thought. I don't feel that way now. I have to say that because somebody's going to take what I'm saying out of context. I used to think that. I used to think it was absolutely a curse. Let's see here. Our 12-year-old tells the kids at school that he doesn't need to have a girlfriend because his mom and dad will choose his wife. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise Yah. Praise Yah for that one. We have to start controlling our righteous biblical family vision. Absolutely. You have to start controlling that. You got to keep feeding that vision all the time. Revisit it all the time. Keep the vision ever before the family as a patriarch. Use the gifts Yah has given you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So I'm going to go back to these notes. Men must be unapologetically patriarchal. Husband may need to sit down, have a chat with their wives. Yep, a new covenant must be made. New covenant. The wife assimilated to the old husband. He should announce the death of the old man and ask for the assimilation of the new man. That's what I was just talking about. He is not asking permission to be patriarchal, but he is apologizing for murdering her old husband. That's what's going on. You're not asking for permission to be patriarchal. You're just simply apologizing. Hey, I'm sorry. I can't be that guy I was. That guy was a simp. That guy was neutered. That guy had a lot of false doctrine in him. That guy had no direction. That guy, he found you and married you, loved you. But I can't be that guy and still walk this walk. Walking in this walk changes me. The old husband was essentially worshiping his wife through emotional manipulation, holding his tongue, not declaring or setting policy. Okay, that's what happened. The old man was essentially worshiping his wife. Let me go see what you're saying right there. Okay, essentially worshiping his wife. That's what happened. The old man essentially worshiping his wife, emotional manipulation. Get back to the notes. Emotional manipulation, holding his tongue, and not declaring or setting policy. That's what happened. What did they say all the time? Happy wife, happy life. No, not under patriarchy. Not in this Hebrew, not in this Hebrew culture. No, it's not happy wife. No, it's happy spouse, happy house. If you gotta have a little rhyme, it's gonna be happy spouse, happy house. Okay, husband needs to be happy. That's the patriarch. He sets the vision. He needs to be happy. Okay, so that's what did we do in Christianity, or when we're going our own way? That's all we did. We catered to the voice of the wife. We catered to that. We were like, oh, you okay? Is everything good? Oh, what else can I do? Okay, here. Go buy something. Make it, here's some flowers, or let's go on this trip and let's go do this and all that other stuff. And then, I really think I should take no, honey, I don't think you should take that job. And I'm not, yeah, everything to make the woman happy. You can go to stores like, oh man, I got to check with the wife. I'm tell you right now. Oh man. All this stuff started kind of like flooding back and everything, especially, I did Christian counseling, and stuff like that. And it always harkened back to doing something that you had to please the wife. Something that you had to please the wife. Something you've done, something else you need to do, something else you need to do. They didn't tell nothing about submission. They said nothing about assimilation. They said nothing about these things. It's all about figuring out a way to get her in an emotional, happy place. Something you need to do. Never stand up, be a man, lead your household. Never, hey, wife, you need to, you might want to submit to your husband because, that's what the Bible wants you to do. No, none of that. None of that in this. No. Just sheer emotional manipulation. Exactly. And they all say they follow the Bible. No, and we know they don't. We know they don't. Go check out some counseling, okay? Check out marriage counseling and see what they tell you. See the kind of advice that you're going to get. Because I was in it. Trust me. Every husband has to be put back in order exactly as the patriarch, as the head, okay? And, also hearkening back to when someone said, well, what if a man stays single and a woman is single and all that other stuff? I'm thinking, then I don't know why they would need to be in, a marriage conference or marital type, so that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know why they would even participate. Okay, it is empowering for women to function as they were created to function. Exactly. See, a lot of people, they think because a woman submit, she's weak. You know how strong you have to be to submit, to bring your body and your emotions and your mind into subjection, to say, nope, I'm gonna please my husband. I'm gonna do the right thing in spite. Period. You know how frustrating it was for Abigail to be married to Nabal? You know how frustrating that was? That takes a lot of strength. So no, I don't think an assimilated woman is weak at all. I think she's powerful. She was able to die to herself and assimilate to her husband. to serve the Most High through her husband, to show, oh, how can you say you love somebody whom you can't see, but you can't love the covering that Yah gave you, assuming he's a righteous man, or at least trying, at least striving. So how? Oh, I love Jesus. Oh, I love Hamashiach. Oh, that's my head. No, 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 no. Let's not try to short circuit the protocol. Okay, Father, Messiah, husband, wife, children. Let's not try to short circuit it. Okay, you get a lot of people, they try to circumvent and go around. Look at some more of you guys' comments here. In looking at the separation of the Bible, it hit me how much Christians preach from the Old Testament, but say we're not required to keep the commandment and statutes thereof. It baffles. Absolutely, I was looking at a video. The other day, and it was just one of the camps, on the corner, and I think they have a place too in the body too. But one of the camps on the corner, and he would ask the person would ask a question to the preacher on the corner kind of thing, the camp on the corner, and they would answer, and they answer every time with scripture, and they were like, no, see, no, that's Old Testament, brother. You gotta come to the New Testament. No, you gotta come to the New. He said that 4 or 5 times. I was like, oh my gosh, whatever. So anyway, it was just ridiculous. Only issue I see being an older guy marrying a younger sister is his 25-year-old stroke ain't there. Ain't there no more. Hey, you gotta be creative, man. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, them young ones, I get you. Yeah, you gotta be creative. You gotta get creative. That might motivate you to, go vegan, exercise, stuff like that. Get yourself an energy drink before you start. I mean, I don't know. So. It's only for her well-being. If you look at disobedient, they fail and are unhappy. Exactly. It's for their own, it's for our own covering, but you know how this world is. It's backwards and upside down, inside out. Let's see here. When women should not give, empowering. Women should not give safe harbor for any thought or feeling against her patriarch or her husband. You should not just sit there and marinate in these negative thoughts and feelings about your husband. You should not. You should not just sit there. I'm talking about the women, should not just do that, because what? You guys' emotions and things get engaged, and then your actions, that your attitude starts to change towards your husband. And you're looking at him on, well, he's just not perfect. He messing up. He does this. Don't do that. Don't bring a railing accusation against your husband. Okay, because now what? Your prayers are getting hindered. Now your prayers are getting hindered when you do that. You look at Numbers 30. Hey, you can have a vow. You can a vow up to God, and then your husband can just disavow it. So you don't want to do that. Just like it says, we can't deal too harshly with our wives or whatever, because now our prayers won't get answered. Okay, so we can't deal too harshly with them. But yeah, no, women should not give safe harbor for any thought or feeling against her patriarch. It is best for the woman to express what is bothering her in order to get it up and out of the household. So guys, sometimes we're gonna have to let them get it out. Let them get it out, and then redirect the behavior. Husbands are to take it on the chin with a grin, and gird up your loins, because sometimes they're just venting. Okay. Now, women, we're not talking about bottle it up, because we know that can have an explosive result. But what you need to do is, in a controlled environment, go to your husband and let him know, you're feeling some type of way and you're venting, and you want to get it out, okay? But then after that, now he has to be prepared to listen to what's about to come out of your mouth. And it may not always be good and friendly. It could come out fiery, okay? So no problem. As a husband, we can get ourselves ready. Okay, she's got a lot on her mind. She's about to go in. Okay, cool, I'm ready, right? Now, women, you need to be ready for the rebuttal, okay? And I shouldn't say rebuttal. I'm taking away rebuttal because it sounds like you're invalidating what they're feeling. And then when you invalidate them, they just feel it more. But You have to be ready for the correction, meaning getting you back on the path. You have to be ready for him guiding you back to the vision. Okay? You got to be ready for the guidance. Okay? I'll put it that way. You got to be ready for the guidance. All right. Women may need assistance with bringing their emotions into subjection by elder women or sisters of the same mindset. That's why you want brotherhood. We talk about brotherhood, and brotherhood is important. It's critically important, but so is sisterhood. But you can't let your wife be around any sisters. It's got to be the wives of the brothers, okay, whom you trust, who you assemble with, right? Or someone who sisters that whom you trust and you've okayed. Like if they go to a certain channel and stuff like that, and they correspond with other sisters of the faith. As long as you check them out, then yes, sisters need to fellowship with one another, so that they can get back into a place, because we know sometimes they get emotionally out of control. So they need to go ahead and get guided right back into it, to put their emotions into subjection. Like I wrote in the note, it said women may need assistance with bringing their emotions into subjection by elder women or sisters of the same mindset. That's key, of the same mindset. Women will not skip her patriarch in order to deal directly with Yah. Women don't have a right to own their own thoughts and body. And I know a lot of people are going to manifest from that. But you got to understand, that's how you achieve Rome. That's how you achieve oneness, okay? That's how you achieve oneness. It's only for her well-being. Okay, right. Pray him in total submission to the Most High Yah. Absolutely. Do your job and let Yah do the rest. Yes. Absolutely. Do your job and let Yah do the rest. Let me try to get back to these notes here. Because I know a lot of people manifest. What do you mean I don't have a right to my own thoughts? And what, I'm like, I mean, that's what we're talking about. So, let's see here. What else did we write here? Where did my notes go? So I lost my place in my notes. There you go. Thoughts and body. Okay. Every year, take self-inventory or critical self-analysis on any part of you that is not of Yah. Typically during the dead season, like we're going into winter and stuff like that, right? Gardening your mind. Okay. Yeah. Inventory. So at the end of every year, you take an inventory, self-critical. Okay. Where are you falling short? Okay. Where have you fallen short? You take an inventory, you look at your kids, you look at your wife or wives, you look at them and you say, okay, we're kind of recap our year. Okay, we recap our year, and this is where I want us to go. This is where I see us. Okay, and you give assignment. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do, and keep going. This is what I'm gonna do, and you keep going. You gotta get your head. You gotta come from under the water and take a look around and see where you are. You gotta assess the situation to see where you are. Make sure you're still on the path. Every man will be judged for the time Yah has allowed him on earth. Serve Yah or this world. Every man will be judged for the time Yah has allowed him on this earth. Okay? So that's what it says. Let me see. Let me find that scripture real quick. Let me see what it says that. Okay. All right. So Matthew 24 and I think it's 46. Blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. So we're going to get judged. Matthew 24, 46. when it is time, will he find you doing the work? Will he find you doing his will? Okay? A patriarch doesn't love until his wife produces that which he desires. Okay? Yeah, until fully assimilated, fully submitted. Don't give your strength to a woman. Okay? You do that, she's got to be ride or die, as it were. Okay? She's got to be right. She's got to be there for you. She's got to be ride or die. Period. That's just how it goes, brothers and sisters. That's how it goes. So you withhold that until. Sorry, but that's how it is. Okay. Okay. And so they talked about the whole Abraham and Ishmael situation, and we know um, that he had Ishmael, through Hagar, but we know he wasn't a son of the promise, right? So they said, Ishmael is your son, but he is not in your image or likeness. So he's not like, Abraham. That's not the righteous seed, right? And so he has Isaac, who continued in his father's righteousness, okay? Operating in the way of Yah. Ishmael didn't operate in the way of Yah. He just didn't do that. And so he sent them out. Because they were talking about when you bring up the seed, he said, you have children in the world, and now you are thinking about trying to raise up righteous seed. Well, they brought the idea that your corrupt seed could corrupt your righteous seed. Why? Because they're gonna live by a different set of rules, right? They're gonna live by a different set of rules. I know that's gonna hurt a whole lot of people's feelings, but they're gonna live by a different set of rules. You're gonna have the unrighteous seed undoing everything that you are trying to teach. Everything that you're trying to teach the righteous seed. So now you start over again and again. So there have to be some separation. That's why Ishmael sent out. Okay, didn't have no influence over Isaac. Sometimes that's what you have to do. All right. After I listen to her emotions, she must listen to my logic and law. Absolutely, House Ali. Yeah, just listen to the emotions. Okay, I'm gonna let you vent. Go ahead. The floor is yours. But after that, you gotta period. Get you back on track. Absolutely, House Ali. According to Torah. Okay, I agree with you. According to Torah. Let's see. Malak said to. I beg the difference. A lot of us older brothers are in shape better than a lot of the younger men. Uh, I got it. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah. So it will behoove us older gentlemen to stay in shape. Stay in shape. At least, if nothing else, get your endurance up. Jog. Go see if you can. Can you run a mile? Can you run a half a mile? Can you run a mile? Can you run 2? Can you run 10? Just get your heart rate up, get your endurance up, and you can do it. You can do it. Eat right, get your body back in optimal conditions. Some people. I saw this woman. She's like 17 years old. Thing is, she's next level vegan. She's raw vegan. Okay, and juices. That's it. Raw vegetables, and she juices, and she doesn't have a gray hair. I mean, naturally, she just does not have a gray hair. She started when she was 40. Now she's 70. I was looking at. They did a story actually on her, and yeah, she's raw vegan. She's raw vegan, and she does juices. That's it. That's all her meals. That's it. And she looks young. She looks like she's 45. She's 70. She looks 45. Okay, and her husband, gray, salt, pepper. I mean, you would think he is. You think he's robbing a cradle, but he's not. Because I mean she's right there with him. But man, that oh, so you saw her too, Zen Explorations? You saw her too? Because I saw that video. I mean, she looks great. No, her name is Annette. There you go. Set her partly. Okay, there you go. See, people know. See, that's what I'm saying. People know what you're talking about. She looks great. Hey, my wife. Yes, the husband was a butcher eating meat. Yep, there you yeah, exactly. I saw that. I saw that. She looks great. I mean, he looks his age, but she doesn't look her age. She does not look her age, and I mean, she's I think she's like 70 years old, something like that. And but no, that's yeah, absolutely. That so if you can go raw vegan, I mean, my wife is she's basically a vegan. Basically, she eats meat every now and again, but don't really, she don't really like it. So she'll do she'll do some fish every now and again, and maybe some chicken every now and again, but ribs and steak and all that other, she's not into that. She's really not into that. Every once in a while, but her a few years above 70, absolutely, yeah, something like that, and she looks great. But every once in a while, my wife will eat meat. She's not really crazy about it. Um, and I'm like moving in that direction, just to be healthier, just to be healthier, just moving in that direction. So as fellas, hey, stay in shape, man. Stay in shape. Try to stay young for as long as possible. Uh, a man is a family. A man is a family. Why? Because he has the family within. He has a family within. He has a tribe within, which was expressed, at the conference. A man has a tribe within him already. A tribe within him. Okay. So that was like session one. Okay. And we're talking about, and it's an hour and a half, and it was a 4 hour session. So that's not bad. That's not bad for some notes. I think I'm gonna do another live stream going over the second session, and I'll do next Shabbat. I'll do another one, another live stream next Shabbat, going over the second session, right? But no, you guys, y'all ask away. You say a man is a family, and he has a family within him. He has a family within him. He does. That I'll be honest with you, that pretty much blew me away. Just to even have that thought, just to put it in that perspective, but I thought was amazing. A man has a family within him. That is something. That is amazing to even have that thought, to have that idea. You know, so a lot of wisdom, and anyone who was there, if y'all want to expound on any of that, anybody who was there, Zen Explanation, you were there. If you can type in a couple of things that you saw that stood out to you in the conference, go ahead and do that. Shakina, any things that you may have seen or heard, anything that you remember, just put it in the comment section, and let the other people know. Let them hear some of those things there. Taste of Soul, you were there. Johnny Smith, you were there. Any little thing that you guys can think of that was in there. Mainly, it don't matter which session, but mainly the first session, stuff like that. Just some thoughts that you had in there. Just some thoughts that you had in there before we close this out. Now let's talk about it. Let's address it. I saw that the Murray trial was a unit, and it was an honor to see them. Their son looked well raised. Absolutely, Zen. Absolutely. My goodness. That was one. They were one. Elder Murray was on the stage, Sister Gina was on the stage, and her two sister wives were right there on the front row, and they had it together. They had it together. Yes, sir, they had it together. They had it together, and I was impressed. I was impressed with how they moved. They were one. I was impressed how they moved. They talked about how a lot of the mothers were pregnant at the same time, and the kids, they breastfed from any mother, from any oneness. My goodness, it was mind-blowing. The crowd was small, but it didn't matter. They gave the speech like it was a family meeting also. Absolutely, they did make it feel like that. Yeah, yes, they did. See, Israel, he said, you can feel the power of a strong patriarch. Yes, sir. So you did. It was great. It was it was fantastic, man. If you were not there, it'd be really hard to convey everything. I can't I can give you notes, but I can't give you the atmosphere that was in there. I can't give you that. That's just something else. Oh, I know, said a Parlin. Yeah, I honestly think you would have enjoyed it. I really do. Because they had questions from the audience and stuff like that. You can ask them anything, whatever you wanted to ask them. A lot of people, polygyny came up, but guess what? It wasn't a polygyny meet. The people who were there, like Zen was there, Johnny Smith was there, Taste of Soul was there, different people were there, and they'll tell you it wasn't all about just polygyny. It wasn't even, a small part was polygyny, and guess who brought it up? a person like in the audience or something. They didn't really even get real deep into it like that. You know, they talked about it because it was brought up, but it was just a biblical family structure. Okay. I pray they will do it again so we may attend. Yeah, if they, I'm telling you now, if they do it again, you want to go. You want to go. You definitely, I would definitely recommend it. It wasn't even that expensive. The biggest expense is going to be your travel getting out there, you know, and having getting a hotel and all that, because the event was like $20. So hopefully they don't raise it, but it was $20 per session. Okay. I missed the first half. I wish people asked more questions in the second half. Yeah, yeah, because they asked questions in the first half. Yeah, you're right. But it was great. You know, it was great. You know, and like I said, it was $20. You know, 20 it was the $20 per session. They had two sessions, $20 per session. So what'll cost you the money is the travel, hotel, or you know wherever you're staying. So I don't know. I hope they do have if they have another one. Yes, absolutely. So I hope they do. See if there's anything else that was in there before we close it out. Any other thoughts? Anything else? All right, guys. So what we have to do, we got to get our families in order, guys. We do. I think the missing piece for me was when Elder Murray broke down the role on patriarch building. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see here. Do they do any gatherings in their home state? You know, I'm not sure. I don't want to bear false witness. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they assemble. I'm assuming because he does preach, you know, patriarchs assembling with other patriarchs. I'm assuming they do, but I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. I think they do, but I don't know that for sure. I have to get a confirmation on that if they actually assemble. But I do believe they're in Atlanta, so you know it's not like they have to travel very far. So they are in Atlanta. Um, let's see here. Unique Taste of Soul. He said, I think the missing piece for me was when Elder Murray broke down the role on patriarch building. Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it was just amazing. You know, someone to just lay it all out on the line and say, look, this is what it should look like. And then it's coming from a place of authority, coming from a place of someone who has done it, who's actually doing it. You know, there's a ton of sons. Everybody's in one unit, one accord. I mean, Mother Gina was talking about one time she had to go to the hospital get checked out or whatever, and she had 15, 16 sons wanting to go in there to be with her, to be with their mother. Okay, and she didn't birth all those sons, but she nursed all those sons. Okay, so I thought it was just amazing, and then Elder Murray was like, okay, guys, y'all got to kind of break it up. Y'all scaring people. It's too many people. And he said, I missed it too, but would love to attend if they have another one. Absolutely. If they do, shall we drop the sugar then? Shall we drop the sugar then? If you're talking about your diet, yeah, you might want to bring that down a little bit. I had to drop salt. I had to drop that. I'm like, eesh, blood pressure was a little bit high. And so I got to kind of stay away from the salt, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm trying to stay young because I'm trying to build my family. I need to start, trying to bring in some righteous seed myself, So right now I'm working on me, okay? I'm working on staying healthy, maintaining, a certain level of energy and endurance and stuff. Because, after, have kids, you gotta have little kids, you got to run around, and deal with kids and have energy. They have endless fountains of energy. So I still want to be, I want to feel like a dad to my sons and daughters, and I don't want to feel like a grandfather to my sons and daughters. So we're gonna keep, I'm just gonna keep it going or whatever, and we just go from there. We go from there. What type of music does everyone listen to? What type of music? Oh, hey, it's just a little variety. Depends on am I working out, Depends on if I'm working out. I'll listen to heavy stuff, heavy beats and stuff, just to keep me energized. But anyway, that's a question for you guys. So it was very informative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was a lot of information, a lot of awesome information. So the patriarchs. Let's see here. I asked because I'm a true hip hop head, but trying to find something less negative. Yeah. I understand. That's what I grew up on. I grew up on that stuff. I grew up on all. I grew up on all that. coming up, little kid. What was it? It was what NWA, Ice Cube, Tupac, DMX, Jay Z, all that stuff. Ghetto Boys, all that. But not so much now. But all that. For the younger generation, they're like, who are these people? That kind of thing. But that's what I grew up in. But yeah, instrumentals. Yeah, absolutely. Frank Stop, Israel Lewis. That's an excellent, excellent, excellent suggestion. You can listen to any kind, just get the instrumental. Okay, and some Hebrew rap is good. Some of it is good. You got to wade through a little bit of it, but some of it is very very good. Some of it's not, because I know most of the time you have like Christian rap and it sounds kind of cheesy and stuff like that, but some of it is really really good. Yeah, instrumental, any kind you want. It could be hip hop. Listen to those beats. Listen to, forget the words, no words. Listen to those beats, and yeah, in fact, I on a playlist I have it just all instrumentals. I gotta finish putting it all together, but yeah, because you gotta remember the songs that you like and get the instrumentals. So and just go from there, man. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it was some great fellowshipping with some good brothers. Yes, sir. Unique takes us all. Yes, sir. Yeah, it was one heck of a weekend, man. It really was. It was one heck of a conference from TBIC. We were all there. We were all there, and it was wonderful. And it was good to see Unique Taste of Soul. It was good to see you, brother Johnny Smith. I saw M4 Johnny and his wife. I saw there's Zen Explorations. Shakina was able to join me. So we were all there. TBIC was in the house, and then we saw some of the other brothers and sisters who came in there too. So it was absolutely, absolutely awesome. All right, Johnny Smith, you guys hit on everything, but especially when he speaks. No sons were you ever hear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All three wives sitting together at the end when she was signing the books. Look at that. Exactly. I'm gonna touch on what Brother Johnny Smith was saying. He said when she hit on, when she speaks, he speaks, basically. And what he's saying is that, well, and I said it earlier, but when she said, when you hear me, this is Sister Gina. When Sister Gina said, when you hear me speak, you hear him, her husband. That's how you're supposed to get oneness. When the wife speaks, you should hear the husband. All on the same program. All on the same program. That's how you hear oneness. And then he says, no sons. If no sons, he said, if you don't have any sons, were you ever really hear? Now I know it makes some people feel upset and sensitive because they don't have any sons. And like, well, you're saying I don't matter or anything? Not saying that. Okay, we're not saying that. But we're talking about family. If you're by yourself, I don't understand why would you even why would you be at a family conference if you have no desire to build a family? So that's the part that gets me kind of like, I don't understand what's going on. There's a disconnect. So that's what he's saying. So if you don't have sons, you're not building a family. Like, were you even here? If you're gone, you're dead. Boom, boom. There's nothing else. No heirs. No nothing. Nothing. So your line dies out. Your name dies out. It's over. It's done. So I understand exactly what he's saying. Well, you hear it all. And then the three wives sitting together at the end while they're doing the book. Yeah, totally helping one another. Okay. Even though Sister Gina was on the stage, she said like her sister wives, they could have been sitting right there on the stage, but they didn't want it. They don't want that. I'll sit right here in the front row, support my sister wife, and support our husband. And that's how it was, right? So that's what they said when they were up there. I love that part. You can tell he speaks to them and helps them understand. Absolutely. Absolutely, Zen. Absolutely. That's how it felt. They were definitely one. Is the point to be remembered? I don't know what that means, HS. So I don't know. You might have to clarify. But anyway, no, it was fantastic. This was just ridiculous. It was just ridiculously wonderful. Okay. So it was great. I think the next the next live stream, I'll just kind of go over the second session and we'll go from there. Zen, if you took notes or anything, but bring that to the table or whatever, and you can put some of your notes in there on the next one. Next Shabbat, okay? Next Shabbat morning, maybe. I don't know if I'll do it about 10 or noon or what. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll do. I want to get consistent. I'm trying to find my sweet spot as far as the times. So I might even do. I may start 10. You know, I may start 10 in the morning, Shabbat morning, 10 in the morning on the Shabbat. So that's what I'll do. Because what I'm trying to do, just so you guys know, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have all of our Shabbats, you know, taken up with information, dialogue, and worship, stuff like that. So Friday night, you know, my brother channel Following Yeshua, Brother Chris, if he has a live stream like Friday night, then so our night is covered. We bring it in Shabbat, have a live stream, and then I see Michael Israel from Spiritual Combat. He'll have a live stream really early, but he'll have one like 8 in the morning, you know, Shabbat, you know, 7, 8 in the morning or something like that on Shabbat, and that'll go a little bit for a while, and then I can have one 10, 11, noon, something like that. Okay, and have a you know, a little live stream. I also do a lesson, but on the other channel, Fountain of Israel. But then in the evening, Brother Chris at Following Yeshua, he'll have one, and because he typically has it in the evening, like 5 o'clock in the evening or something like that. But now we can go all the way from Friday night sundown, have a live stream, all the way around the clock, and you know, hey, we're getting edified, we're trying to build with one another. So I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, HS, I think he was asking, was the point to be remembered when Elder Murray said, if you don't have an heir, were you ever here? That's how I understand it, you know? Yeah, it was thought provoking. He just, you know, he's like, were you ever here? Now, I already know when people, you know, don't have kids and stuff like that, they're trying to defend it. They're like, well, you know, I mean, you know, I matter. I mean, what you mean? I have to have kids, and I understand that. But remember, we're at a biblical marriage conference. Biblical marriage conference. So a person who is single and want to remain single, I don't know why would they be at a marriage council conference. Remember, they're single and they want to remain single. So you're gonna hear something that's doesn't really, you know, coincide with being single. You know, so you see what I'm saying? So that it doesn't, you know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, you know, you got to think about that. I don't know, that doesn't make a lot of sense or whatever. But I myself thought it was thought provoking. I did. But each and every one of you guys for joining me on that live stream. Go ahead and do a, you know, like, comment, you know, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You guys know the routine. This is Israelite Prepper, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shalom and